Okay, so I'm using Elmo to get my camera to focus. Isn't he so cute? That's where I'm gonna be sitting at. Right there. Hey guys, what's up? So welcome back to my channel. I'm super happy y'all are here, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by and coming to check out what's up with this video and what it's gonna kind of be about and all that good stuff. So I just want to kind of go straight into this video. I decided I'm gonna plop onto my couch. I'm gonna make this video and I want to be as genuine as I possibly can with it. Because honestly guys, it's really nerve-wracking to make this video because I'm giving out information and just personal information about my life and things that most people don't talk about. So just a disclaimer, I might cry during this video because I'm talking about some stuff that was really heavy in my life and was just, it's crazy, everything that's happened. And so I might cry, guys. So I haven't even started the video, now we really want to cry because I have so much to tell y'all. And it's been a while since I've last updated y'all with what's been going on. So I'm not gonna lie, I completely remade this video because I felt like the first video that I made wasn't as genuine as I wanted it to be and heartfelt and it was basically scripted. So I threw out the script and I decided that I'm just gonna make the video and just see where it leads. For the most part, the reason I'm making this video is so that way people can kind of see Christians or people that are seeking God or looking for truth can kind of see what it is to walk as a Christian, to walk with Christ, and just my daily life and what it is that I've been doing. So are you ready, guys? I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all some cheese, my guys. First of all, I want to put another disclaimer out there. If at any point I talk about my children's father, it's going to be never to bash him. I have a lot of respect for him. I absolutely love him with the love of Christ, and I would never do anything to hurt him or to bash him. He is a great father to my kids, and I really have nothing much else to say about that, but he will be in my story. Just that way people can kind of see where kind of things led up to and what's been going on these last 3 years almost. So 3 years, guys, I've been single. It has been a roller coaster. I've been up and down with emotions. First year, second year, third year, all completely different. They have their different, different outcomes, different things that I learned within each year, and it was tough. It was tough. And then there's a lot of joy in the end where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna go back to the first year whenever I separated from my kid's father. So I don't even want to put this out there, honestly. I don't want to put too much information out there because I feel like I need to keep some of the privacy keep some privacy on my, ex's, story, because I wouldn't want everyone blurting everything out there about, what went on, but I can kind of give y'all a rough summary of what happened and how I got here. So for those that don't know my testimony, I separated from my kid's father about 3 years ago. So I've been a single mom since then, kind of I can't say journey. So I've been on a journey, guys. I've been on a journey. And honestly, the first year when I separated from the children of my father, it was a really hard year. I was kind of back and forth emotionally, spiritually. I hadn't really given myself to God yet and to Christ and wanted to live for Christ just yet. It was maybe about in the middle of the first year where I actually gave myself to Christ. But in between that time, the reason, I really don't want to put this out there, but I'm gonna put it out there. The reason me and my kid's father separated was because he no longer wanted to be in the relationship. He honestly found somebody new, and I didn't know that at the time when he said he was ready to leave the relationship. He just simply told me that he was ready to leave. And I didn't know for a couple of months until afterwards that he was actually, leaving to go and be in a new relationship. And I guess that really took a toll on me. It really took a toll on me. He ended up moving us out of our place that we were living at. We were living in a trailer. It was a really nice trailer. I liked it, and I was happy there. My son had his own room. We had our own room. We had like 2 extra spare rooms. It was nice and it was comfortable. He moved us into a smaller apartment. Me and my daughter. My daughter was maybe like 5 months old, and I remember when I first moved into my apartment, like, I'm already gonna cry. I was like, I just started the video. When I first moved into my apartment, I remember thinking, like, how am I gonna make it? What am I gonna do to take care of my kids? Because I had a business. It's a photography business, and I'll tell you about that later, because these are what these videos are about as well. But I had a photography business, but it wasn't booming like it is now. And I had a lot of worry and a lot of doubt about how I was going to provide for my kids, and how I was going to take care of them, and how I was going to pay for bills and all of that. I am not trying to make this a sob story, guys, but I'm such a crybaby. I'm such a crybaby now. It was so hard back then. It was so tough, but now I'm such a squishy marshmallow. I mean, I didn't know how I was going to take care of my kids. I didn't know how I was going to pay for bills, because the only bills I ever had to pay when I was with him was like a light bill, water bill, the smaller bills. Maybe it racked up to maybe about $400 or $500 a month. And so now I was having to pay those bills on top of a new rent. And he did let us have the car that we were using. So I wasn't carless when I first moved out. I had the SUV that we had, and thankfully, regardless, he still did his part to try to take care of his responsibilities. But I remember that first year, and it was so hard, because I remember being in the apartment. I really didn't have furniture. I didn't have anything. I brought whatever I had from over there, which was like a dresser set. I didn't even have a mattress, guys. I slept on the floor for like 3 months while I lived here on an air mattress. And then finally, I didn't get it. He got it for us. He paid for like a futon for us to sleep on. And it was just rough. It was rough the first 3-4 months that I stayed here in my first apartment by myself with my kids. And I remember crying so much because I felt so alone. I felt so heavy and like so sad all the time. And I remember I would lock myself up in the restroom because I didn't want my kids like seeing me cry all the time. And I felt really bad, and I didn't want to be that type of mom. And it was around that point that I decided that I wanted to get into a relationship. So I was like super empty, super void. So I ran into the arms of somebody that I thought that would maybe bring some joy into my life, and that I would use to, use to fill a void. And it's not true. There's nothing in this world but God that can really fill that void, but Jesus, the joy that he brings. And I didn't know that then. I was just worried about doing what I wanted to do and what satisfied my flesh, or what I wanted from life. And I thought that running to somebody or running to the arms of another person was going to fill a void, and it doesn't. And I feel really bad, because honestly, that relationship, I was totally a rebound relationship. He was a really awesome dude. I ended up telling him later on, after we had stopped talking, and then we started talking again, which I will tell y'all later about in another video. But some info on that. But I remember running into that relationship, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out because I had so many insecurities from the past relationship. And it was around that time that I had finally figured out that my ex had actually, moved on to another relationship with the same woman that he was working with. And it really brought something out of me. Like, it really brought a lot of pain, I think, a lot of pain and a lot of insecurity, guys, so much insecurity. And I remember it was around that point, once I had already broken up with that guy, with the rebound guy, and I was finally finding out that he had actually been with somebody else the whole time. And I really went to a really, really low point. Y'all can like check out my testimony about that. And so I finally went to a really low point, and I finally gave my life to God. And I was like, look, God, do whatever you got to do with me, because I don't even know what to do with myself. I already had suicidal tendencies. And it was just all over the place. And I'm going to say that first year, once I finally gave my life to God, the rest of the half of the year, he really took a huge burden off of my chest, a huge heartache that I had. He was literally holding it like in his hands, like in a globe or something. And it was protected by his love. And it's so weird to explain, but it was so supernatural, because I was in so much pain. And when you're in so much pain, it's just like your emotions are everywhere. They're like right here, over there, they're just everywhere. But as soon as I had given my life to him and I had said, just do what you want, I gave him my heart basically. And as soon as I did that, it's like he grabbed my heart and all my emotions, and he grabbed them on, and he just like put them into this globe, into this beautiful hand that he put over all of my emotions and everything. He was just keeping them in that globe, in his love. And they were still bouncing around, they were kind of everywhere, but he was still sustaining me to a point where I didn't have depression anymore. I wasn't chained down by it anymore. I wasn't feeling like suicidal tendencies anymore. I wasn't feeling like I wanted to die, or like it was just a really heavy burden anymore. Instead, it was more like, I still have all this pain, but I know there's hope. I know that there's something great in the future. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's in store for me, but I know because all of a sudden God was holding my heart. Sorry, somebody was like, I thought somebody was knocking at my door, so I got so distracted. But anyway, so God was really holding my heart. And after that, I really started to grow with him that first year. More than anything, I started reading the Bible so much, because when I opened it, it's like all of a sudden, whatever pains were still kind of jumping around, my entire heart was focused into the Bible and what God had to say. His words from there, they're living in their life. And as soon as I started reading the Bible, I was eating it up. It was just feeding my soul and giving me new perspective and new life and hope, and just reading his words of comfort and just the things that he would say in the Bible. And for 2 years I was like that. I was just totally consumed in the Bible, totally reading it all the time. I had to know so many things. Honestly, the first year I had no idea who Jesus Christ was. I had no idea who he was. I had no idea what he did on the cross. I knew nothing about Jesus Christ. I just saw him as a man, and that's it. And then I knew that he was the Son of God, but I didn't know nothing. It was kind of crazy, especially since, you would think that you live here in America, that you would know something about it, or somebody would have came up to you, or a Christian would have told you about Jesus. But the truth is we all day long, we don't want to hear about that. We don't want to hear about Jesus. We don't want to hear about God, because it gets us out of our comfort zones, and it makes us realize like, oh, I'm not perfect. I'm not, because a lot of people say I'm a good human being. I'm a good human being, and I'm gonna go to heaven. And they don't want to acknowledge anything else. As long as you live your life well, you're gonna get to heaven. And that's not necessarily true. And I didn't know that then either. And God really showed me so much in between that first year, what it is to really live with Christ and how to get to heaven and all of that stuff. And as you start to give a lot of your burdens and a lot of your pain away to God, he starts to be able to move in your life and show you things that you never thought were going to be possible. So after, I'm going to be 100%, after I had given my life to God, so much changed in me. So much joy was brought into my heart, even though I still had pain. I remember I'm not going to say that as soon as God, as soon as I gave my life to Christ, that everything just went away, because it didn't. After I gave my life to Christ, I ended up, a few months later, finding out that my ex was going to get married to the woman that he was with. And that really brought me to another low again. And it hurt me so much, because I was with him for like 9.5 years. And he never offered like to marry me. I had 2 kids and everything with him. And it hurt me so much then because I had no self-value, and I didn't realize what God had really made me to be and who I was. And it really did. It brought me down to a low, and I was like, he's barely been with this woman for 6 months that I knew of. He was with her for like 6 months, and it just, it really hurt. It really hurt. But God, in the end, showed me it was for a complete reason. And even though I didn't see it then, I actually asked God. I was like, why? I was like, why did you? I had a beautiful family. I had my kids together. Because the truth is I had given myself to Christ. I had got baptized actually because God had been calling me for a while, and he had told me, hey, I could hear his voice calling me, give your life to Christ. I'm here. I love you, daughter. I want you. That he loved me. But I was denying him for so long. And I knew I was denying him for so long because I was afraid of losing how comfortable I was in this life. And so this was even before my ex had decided to separate from me. It was maybe like 2 months before he decided to separate from me that I got baptized. And as soon as I got baptized, I didn't realize it then, but as soon as I got baptized, 2 months later, he decided to say he was going to leave me out of the blue, guys, just out of nowhere. And then I saw it as like the most terrible thing in the entire world. But now I see it as like God decided to move like this. He started eliminating things that no longer needed to be in my life. And unfortunately, and fortunately at the same time, it was my kid's father. He knew that I was never going to grow being with him, that I was never going to be able to realize my worth and seek him and seek God, because I really did want a relationship with God. I really wanted to be with him. I really wanted to know who he was, but I was never going to grow in that relationship. It wasn't that it was like extremely toxic, but it was toxic. It was toxic because I honestly made it an idol. I made it that I basically like completely worshipped that relationship, that it was my everything, that without it I would die. And that's not how God wants you to live. He doesn't want you living, making things in life an idol. Drugs, money, girls, riches, houses, cars, none of that. He will remove that from you so quick. And that's why we're so afraid to go to him sometimes. That's why I was afraid to go to him, because I was afraid of losing my comfort, and everything that I knew that I was in was comfortable. So I didn't know then, that he was already moving quickly, and he removed one of the first things that he needed for me to grow in him. And yeah, it was a trial and tribulation, and people are going to be like, well, why did God decide to make it so, so hard on you? Why does he have to bring you to your lowest in order for him to come into your life? And the truth is most of the time we won't acknowledge God until we're at our lowest, until we have no choice but to call his name. And he loves us so much even when we get to our lowest. And he's been calling our name forever. Honestly, guys, he's calling our name all the time. Every single day he calls us to have a relationship with him, to have a relationship with Christ, because he is the way to the Father. He is the way to God. And we don't acknowledge him. We just shoo him off and continue to do what we want. But anyway, let me just get back on track, because I'm getting preachy up in here, guys. I get preachy. I'm not gonna lie. It just is who I am, because I follow Jesus' ways now. But that first year was definitely rough, especially after finding out they ended up getting married, and just things kind of started strolling along. But after the second year kind of kicked in, I did still have pain. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's a really long process of healing, especially when you've been in a relationship for so long and you completely made it something that was completely everything that you wanted to live for. And that second year I really grew with God, though, because I started to realize who Jesus really was, and where and what my goals were really that I wanted in life. And I started to discover who I was, because I had no identity, guys, when I got out of that relationship. That's mostly why I had no self-value. I was just picking up whatever I could from other people to tell me and give me value. And that second year I really started to discover who I was, what I enjoyed doing. I still didn't like to be alone. I'm gonna be honest. I had my best friend all the time, and we would go out and do things. But I was so thankful for my best friend at that time. Like, I'm gonna start tearing up again. But I was so thankful for him because he really, honestly, my best friend has a huge ego, guys. But I think it was perfect because he was like that dude that like nudges you and you're like saying and looking in the mirror, I'm like, I'm so fat, I'm so ugly. And he's like, no, you're not. You need to stop saying that. And like he would me regañaba, but he would like basically get me in trouble all the time. I would get in trouble when I would say dumb things like that. And I think it was awesome because he really did boost up my self-esteem. Especially since, you know, I knew that he was really truthful. So God really put him in my life, and he was really with me through that entire, you know, second season of my life, that second year. We would go out and we would eat all the time, go skateboard, go do things. And I mean, I had an amazing best friend for that season, and that was awesome. And that, like I said, that year I really started to grow, find my worth, my self-worth. I honestly stopped wearing so much makeup. Like right now I have some makeup on because I wanted to look cute today. But I had so much makeup on then too, I remember. And that second year I finally decided, you know what? I'm not going to wear so much anymore, because the reason I was doing it was to get attention from guys, to get attention from people, to feel better. And then it's not even feel better, like to feel better like for yourself. You wanted to feel better because you wanted the attention, or I wanted the attention from other people. So I stopped wearing heavy makeup. I started to dress a little more plainly. I started definitely dressing way more modest. Like I used to wear some short shorts, some, you know, tank tops, and basically my cleavage would show and stuff like that. So I wasn't really modest back then either. But God really started convicting me. And what conviction is when he starts telling you, daughter, you know, there's a reason why you shouldn't be doing this. I call you away from that. I call you for good things. And I don't. And I knew that if I started wearing short shorts and stuff like that, it called the wrong attention from men, and it called the wrong attention from people, period. And so I that second season, I completely threw out all of my clothes that was not modest. That was not, because it was just, you know, I would put on a pair of shorts, and I used to think back in the days that, oh, it's cute, you know, it's showing off my legs that are not, anyway, it's showing off my legs and stuff. But I started looking in the mirror and I was just like, this is not cute. I was like, this is not cute. Why would I want guys to lust? I was like, why do I want them to sin? I was like, it's not even worth it. So I threw out all my clothes, and I started to change during that season. I stopped listening to music on the radio. I started wanting to listen to more Christian music. I completely let go of all music that was like secular music, basically music that doesn't really have anything to do with Christ. And I do still love a lot of different genres of music. I definitely love classic music. I definitely love like 50s and 40s music and just the classic music, guys. And I don't see anything wrong with it. I really don't. What I see that I don't like and that I don't try to like listen to is like songs about sex, or, you know, drugs, or I'm gonna kill you, and stuff like that, like, or about pride, or I'm better than you, or I'm just not into that type of music. That isn't gonna feed my soul, you know? So I let it go. But that second season, it was totally a growth changing season. God really changed my heart, the way I viewed myself. But I remember around more towards like the end of it, it was maybe towards like the middle of it. It was about 1.5 years now ago, that I was sitting there and I was asking God. I was driving one day, and I'm gonna cry during this part, I already know, guys, but I was driving one day, and I remember looking at the clouds in front of me, and it was like one of those rainy days where it's like super dark on one side and really bright on the other side, where the sun is shining, and it's just so beautiful. It's so cool. I always love days like that. But I remember I was driving, and I was sitting in that seat as I was driving. I was looking at like the dark clouds, and in the front of me, I remember I still had so much pain. I still had so much remorse about the past, about who I was and my mistakes, because when you get in a relationship, it's not always just the other partner's fault. Sometimes it's, you know, things that you've done that you wish you could have done better. But you learn from them and you grow. But I remember asking God and sitting there and still having so much guilt and remorse and pain, and I still needed so much healing to do. And I asked him, and I looked up at the sky, and I was like, God, when am I gonna finally be healed? I was like, when am I gonna finally be able to have this joy and peace in my heart? And I'm gonna start crying. Are you serious? And I remember in that moment, in like a split second, it was so supernatural. He put me in this moment in the future where I had no more pain, that I was content, I was happy, I was joyful. And I couldn't believe that he did that for me in that split second while I was driving. It feels like it's a split second in the natural world, but in the spiritual world, it was just like a few minutes of being able to see what my future was. And he put me where I had no more pain in my heart, where there was no more pain, just happiness, joy. And the crazy thing is that I look at it now, and this is where I'm at right now in my life. I find so much joy and happiness and worth, and exactly what he had showed me in that split second, that vision, that supernatural vision, is exactly where I'm at right now in this time and day in my life. And I couldn't be any more joyful, any more happy, and any more thankful to God for putting me where I'm at right now. I'm super thankful. So this last year, guys, God has done some really amazing things in my life. He has really gotten me through a lot of things that I thought were impossible, especially being a single mom, bills, being able to pay for things, getting a brand new car. He's gotten me through so much. And just because I decided to put a little bit of trust in him, because for a long time I was learning to build trust in God and trusting him with what I had, because I might have had $20 to my name, but he multiplied it. And I don't know how. Sometimes I have the ugliest crybaby face, guys, I'm sorry, but he multiplied what I had. And now I can for sure say that he's provided for me since the very beginning. When I thought I couldn't, he has. When I thought that, it was hopeless, he showed me hope. And then my kids, the fact that I'm able to provide for them right now, and then even when I wasn't, and when I didn't believe in him, he still showed me so much love and so much mercy. I mean, there's been so many times that I can tell you that's been so crazy, where I didn't have anything, and then all of a sudden he sends somebody, or he's given it to me somehow. But he really did show me the miracles that he could do. I didn't think that I would be a sane woman right now, honestly. I thought I would be a really bitter kind of, woman, a bitter ex. But not once did he allow me to be bitter, to be bitter against, anything in my life, to be hateful or angry about where I was. And I'm here now. I have my business, it's booming, it's running, it's beautiful. I'm able to provide for my kids. I have a brand new car. I'm able to pay for everything. I have sufficient money to be able to go out, take my kids out and do things, and things I never thought I was going to be able to do. I have so much joy in my heart. I'm able to be, active with my kids, so happy. Even though I've gained some weight, guys. I gained like 25 pounds from happy eating this last year and a half, but I'm so thankful for everything that I have and everything that goes on in my life right now. I don't even know what to say sometimes, because God is so good. And God is so good, God is so good, God is so good, guys. This is just all I gotta say. And right now I'm at a point in my life where I have joy in my heart, where I have whatever trials and tribulations I had before literally made me so much stronger. And I might not have seen it then, but I look back at it now and I'm like, wow, God, that's what you were doing? Is that what you were making me go through that fire for? Look at me, I'm so much stronger now. Like, if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't have been where I'm at right now, and I'm so thankful. And even when I have like trials and tribulations right now, he's taught me to be able to be joyful through the storm, to be able to, like, whenever I'm going through something that is super hard, I go back and I rely on God. I rely on Jesus, and I say, Jesus, take the wheel. I don't know what you're doing, but I know that it's in your will, because I've asked you to come into my life. I've asked you to do what you had to do in my life. And if this is what you think I need to go through, then I'm going to go through it, but I'm going to go through it with joy. And I'm going to go through it knowing and trusting that you're going to get me through it. And every time he's got me through it. Thankfully, throughout these years, I've also been able to learn how to hear God's voice. Being able to have this relationship with Christ, with Jesus, with God, it's amazing. It's amazing to be able to hear his voice. And the truth is I love to go and I love apologetics. Apologetics is basically me going and serving God and telling people about the truth of the gospel and defending it, basically. I'm so sorry to say that, but religion, I don't believe in religion. I don't believe that doing man-made things or doing things in order to please God is what's going to get you to heaven. No. What's going to get you heaven is the gift of having Christ and believing in Christ. That's why God sent him, is having a relationship with Christ. He, and just like in the Bible, he says he is the way, the truth, the life. No one comes through the Father but through me, but through Christ. So I completely am a total believer that the only way to heaven is through Christ. That we need to defend the gospel, and we need to be able to enlighten people about what scriptures really say and what the Bible really says. So that's where my heart is at. He's taught me so much, and I love what I do. I love that I'm able to serve God. I love that back then I didn't used to cook, and I cook now. I can cook now from my future hubby that's coming up soon too. On the next video, I'm gonna show y'all some amazing things God's been doing. But I think I'm done with this video. I think I cried enough tears for y'all. I think I gave you what it really was, my genuine heart. And I want to put this out there too one more time, guys. For any single parents, any single mothers out there, God loves you so much, and he's going to get you where he needs to get you to. I want you to have faith in him. Don't go relying on going to club and drink and finding guys and finding joy, or trying to find joy or value in materialistic things, because that's not where it's at. Where it's at is whenever God puts it into you, he shows you, and he opens your heart and your spirit. And yeah, be vulnerable. That was really hard for me. It's still kind of hard for me right now, honestly, to be vulnerable, but it's a learning process. And it's taken 3 years. It's taken 3 years for healing, and it takes a while. But have trust in God and have faith in him that he's going to get you where he needs to get you. If he needs to get you out of that toxic relationship, that that man ain't going to change, that he keeps, showing you over and over that he's going to be the same, or woman, he'll take you out of that toxic relationship. Just ask him. Ask that you want a relationship with him, and he'll show you exactly where he needs you to be. And I'm forever thankful where he has gotten me, because yes, in the beginning it hurt. Yes, you had to go through some fire. Yes, it wasn't comfortable. But now that I look back at it, I'm 100% happy that he did it. That he got me out of that relationship. That, he's gotten me through trials and tribulations. That he's let me go through the fire. Because I'm joyful for where I'm at right now. Because I'm able to say I'm 100% stronger, and I rely completely on Christ. And that's okay. It's okay to let yourself be vulnerable and to rely on a God that knows exactly what you need and who you are and what your purpose was. So I think I'm done with this video, guys. I'm so sorry if I made it so long. I love y'all so much. I hope some of this kind of enlightens y'all about what's been going on with me. I'm going to be making one more video today. The next one's going to be about dating, basically. My dating life that is non-existent, but for a reason. But I love y'all so much, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that this inspires anybody out there to, I'm going to cry again, to give a chance to God. Because he loves you so much. And he wants you as his daughter or son. And he has a purpose for you. A purpose for your children, you, all of that good stuff. So, love y'all, guys. I'll see y'all later. And Elmo, we'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.